Morning. So I promised to make a video on food. So eating healthily and eating a balanced diet and eating regularly are things that people with ADHD certainly can struggle with, and people with autism. And so we have a number of strategies in our house to help with this. So one of the things that I put together is another little laminated chart for the husband, who is not an intuitive cook. And it's simply a little list. So on one side, it's simple meals. And I've got a row of different types of carbohydrates, a row of different types of protein, and a row of different types of vegetables that I know members of the family will eat. So obviously there are many vegetables that specific members of the family won't eat. So I've got a range on each section. And all he has to do is choose his carbohydrate, choose his protein, choose his vegetable. And there's a simple list that he can choose from and make food easily for the kids. So it's not just chicken nuggets and chips every time, which is probably his go-to and would probably be my son's go-to. My daughter's go-to is pancakes. I mean, that's all she really eats at the moment because she has RFID, restrictive eating disorder. On the other side, I've got easy stir-fry dishes. So I'm not being too ambitious. It's important to have simple meals that don't feel overwhelming, but have some element of nutrition and balance and health. And for us, it's this idea that there needs to be vegetables, protein, and carbs in every meal in order to keep us energized and in order to keep our blood sugar levels relatively level and not spiking up and down. The protein in our family is the most important. The other tip I have in the freezer, I have a heap of frozen fruits, and this is for my son, and it works really, really well because sometimes he eats fantastically healthily and other times all he wants is carbs and protein. And then he starts to go a bit downhill in terms of his immune system. So I use a blender and I stick a fresh banana in, 3 different portions of frozen fruit. So we use strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries. And I blend it all together, fill it up with milk, blend it all together. And he loves this. And he's been having this probably 3 or 4 times a week for a number of years. And that's how he gets 4 of his 5 a day. And for me, that's really, I have this kind of almost, not obsession, but this kind of, it's my thing that I want to get 5 portions of fruit and veg into everyone. And it's really difficult to figure out how to do that sometimes. And so this is a really easy way to do it. I modified the recipe last week because he wasn't up for the smoothie, and I bought this frozen pack of mixed fruit. So it was mango, peach, and raspberry, and you could do it with your own fruit from the garden if you grow fruit. So I've also processed a heap of frozen apples in here and frozen red currants, which will be used over winter. But with just the fruit, I blended it with water. I added something else into it. I can't remember what that was. Something else to sweeten it. It was a little bit of cordial. A little bit of cordial to sweeten it because it wasn't very sweet. And it basically looked like some kind of sorbet. And it was absolutely delicious. And it felt like a treat to him. But it was really healthy because it was just fruit with a tiny bit of cordial. And so again, for us, we try to be really creative with how to get these healthy foods into ourselves. With the pancake issue, because our daughter does just mostly eat pancakes, at the moment we're restrained to the 3 basic ingredients, which are flour, eggs, and milk. So I add extra eggs in to make it a little bit more nutritious. But previously, I've added in freeze-dried blueberry powder. I quite often, for the other members of the family, I might add in a bit of oats instead of the flour, or I might add ground almonds for a bit more protein. And so there are things you can add into the pancake mix itself, into the blended pancake mix, and then make the pancakes with those extra ingredients added in. My son also likes having a few blueberries chucked in, so we sometimes do that. But certainly with our daughter, we can't just hide foods because she would notice it and then she wouldn't trust us and then she'd stop eating that food too. And we can't really risk that because there's so little she eats. And so it is about being creative, but about being open and honest, especially if your child has issues around food. Do not hide stuff in their food. This is the advice we've been given over and over again, that it's really important to be honest about what you're putting in food. Even with adults, we don't want to be fed something that we don't know what it is. And I remember when I was little, my parents once fed me rabbit. They told me it was chicken and it was delicious. And then they told me it was rabbit and I was devastated and I wouldn't eat meat for ages after that because I didn't trust them what kind of meat it was. And that can happen if you lie to your kids and they find out what's in the food. So honesty is very important as well. And our daughter will try the odd bit, but only if she feels safe that we're being honest with her. So my tips for food, in a nutshell, are be creative. If you can, make things like smoothies if you struggle to, get fruit and veg into you. Make little charts of easy go-to things. So on the days you're exhausted and can't be bothered cooking, like my easiest when I can't be bothered cooking is boiling a pack of noodles, like cheap noodles. If I'm feeling slightly more energized, I might chuck in some sweet corn or peas. I also have a pack of seafood mix in the freezer, so that takes 5 minutes. Fry up the seafood mix with the noodles and and some kind of vegetable with a bit of soy sauce, a bit of lime juice and a bit of chili, and it's delicious. Kids won't eat it, but it's perfect for the adults. And so if you can plan some really easy meals in advance where you can use frozen stuff and packet stuff so you don't need to be dealing with the fresh food, don't be overambitious, don't berate yourself, but make something that feels nutritious to you but is easy, because otherwise you're not going to eat it. And you're going to find that you revert to the easy snacks that are not very healthy, that actually make you feel physically worse.